What is up, y'all? Within today's video, we're going to be talking about Trisha Paytas and Jeffree Star, because in a recent podcast episode of Trisha Paytas, she just talked about Jeffree Star, and y'all know I've been saying for months now that I really want Jeffree to be on Trisha's podcast because I am so damn nosy and I just want to know the full story. There's just so many questions that I have as a viewer of like all of the beauty community that I want to know, like what happened with him and Manny. I want to know what happened with him and James Charles. I want to know what happened with him and Trisha Paytas. Like there's just so many things that I want to know. Also, I want to know like what happened with like Tati too. Like, damn, Jeffree Star has had fallings out with so many people. I feel like for some reason though, like he doesn't talk about them. Like he'll bash James Charles, obviously, like on TikTok Live and stuff like that. He'll throw shade at him, but I feel like he never said what happened. What was the ending of their friendship? Do you know what I mean? Obviously, he's had friendships ending with Nikita Dragon, Laura Lee, Manny MUA, Trisha Paytas, Tati Westbrook, like the list goes on and on. Gabriel Zamora, I believe, too. So I'm just so curious if he would ever open up about these things. You know what's really crazy, too, is I want to know what happened with him and Manny, only because in my personal opinion, I feel like before the comments that he has made, it almost seemed as if Jeffree helped Manny with his brand, and I feel like maybe he didn't feel like appreciated, and I feel like that's when he like stopped, you know, talking to Manny. But I'm really curious though. And I'm also curious to know if there's any type of like, you know, cease and desist or what is it called? Like NDA signed between them that they don't really talk about each other, because I made a video about it a while ago. Like the one and only time that Jeffree Star had mentioned Manny MUA within recent years, ever since they stopped talking, somebody had commented on Jeffree Star's live and said, what happened with you and Manny? And he was like, go ask him, you know? So I'm like, I'm curious to know, because we all know Jeffree, like that fool is outspoken. He would have said. Anyways, before we get into this, I do have to let you guys know, y'all know that I've been saying I'm going to do reviews of this foundation right here, the Patrick Ta Major Skin Hydra Luxe Luminous Skin Perfecting Foundation. You know what's so funny? As soon as I came back from my cruise, I was like, oh my gosh, like I wanted to do a review of that while I was on the ship, which I had a whole vision in my head. I was like, this is going to be fun. And then I got irritated that they like blew up. Well, not like blew up, I don't know how else to say it, like because of the like, you know, airplane, I don't know, y'all, like the top popped off and they're like overfilled, which was so crazy to me. I was just like, ugh, I'm so irritated by that. And on top of that too, like I was super busy on my cruise. Anyways, didn't end up doing the review. As soon as I came back, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the review. I'm like, oh my gosh, the weather is like finally cooling down over here. It was like mid 70s, you know. I lagged on doing the review for the week that I had been back, and then now for the past like 10 days it's been so damn hot that I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm literally sitting here right now sweating, y'all. Like I'm literally sweating. So that's why I'm like, I apologize that I am lagging so much on these damn reviews. I will get to them as soon as it cools down. I cannot be putting foundation on my face like and trying to do a review of it. I just feel like that's not fair, because I feel like it's gonna obviously look like crap because I'm sweating, you know. Obviously when I get ready, I have my AC on and my fan blasting, which I can't do while filming because then you guys aren't gonna be able to hear me, especially with my AC, y'all. It's like not even that old and it sounds so damn loud. Anyways, let me give you guys a brief little context about Trisha Paytas and Jeffree Star. If you guys do not recall, they had a little bit of a falling out when they all went to Vegas. They went with a bunch of people, but specifically there was so many like comments being made about Jeffree Star being a bully to Trisha Paytas. But then I do want to say this, because I feel like she backpedals a lot on things, to where she called like Jeffree Star like fat phobic basically by saying like he slapped like a fry out of her hand, or like she needs to stop eating and like slapped her hand. Don't quote me on that, but it was something along the lines of that. And she had made that comment on video before, and then she deleted that video. So I was just kind of like, damn, I want to know what happened on this trip. And then Jeffree Star did publicly make an apology to her on Twitter. So low-key, I was thinking, oh damn, Trisha's telling the truth. But then she like weeks later said like everything was fine and like there was no issues, and that she was going through like some mental health stuff. But then like way after that, then she ended up backing up the story again. So I was like, I don't know what to believe right here, y'all. Like, I'm just kind of like, you're saying one thing. He apologized for it, which then to me seemed like it was totally true. But then she backpedaled out of it. And then where everything got super, super ugly actually during that time was Jeffree Star's hair person was blowing up on Trisha Paytas on, I want to say Instagram Live, like calling her a walrus and stuff. I was like, whoa, like he was, you know, getting a little crazy, if I'm being honest. So that's where their like falling out had came from, but I don't know what happened after that. I kind of feel like they just needed to have a conversation that they never had, and I feel like Jeffree Star took it to heart that obviously Trisha Paytas took it to online and made it seem like, oh damn, this is really, really crazy, and made it seem like, you know, a really big deal. And obviously Jeffree Star has been painted in a bad light so many times because y'all know how he talks and he just pops off like crazy. You know what's so crazy is like low-key I could like relate to that, because I don't know if you guys are like that, but sometimes like when you're hurt as a person, you just want to hurt a person back, you know, and the things that you say, you're like, you're going to hit below the belt, which is so wrong. But it's just kind of like, rather than admitting that you're like hurt or bothered by a person, you pop off because that's the easier thing to do. And it's easy just to get out that aggression in that type of way. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but I'm like, sometimes I'll be like, I'm kind of like that low key sometimes, not gonna lie. Anyways, not saying it's okay, but I'm just saying sometimes it takes so much work to be vulnerable and be like, hey, you really hurt my feelings. So it's easier to be like, fuck you, bitch. You know what I mean? Anyways, nonetheless, okay, in the past few months, I feel like it's been a topic of conversation here and there about Trisha Paytas and Jeffree Star. Obviously, if you guys do not recall, she made a comment about, oh, I don't even know what happened between Jeffree and I, and that fool popped off on TikTok. And he was like, what do you mean? You literally like ruined my life. So this is where I was confused about everything as well too, because how is he playing the victim now when apparently at first he was like being a bully towards her? So I'm like, I'm so confused here. I really do think, in my opinion, I think that they both hurt each other, and I feel like they just never had a conversation about it to like get those feelings out, so they both were sitting on them. And I think that Jeffree Star did make a public apology for what he did wrong, but I still do think that Trisha Paytas may have done something during that time too that really triggered Jeffree, and I feel like maybe he wanted an apology from her as well too, which once again, I don't know over exactly what, but that's just the way it came across to me as a viewer. So anyways, fast forward to now, y'all know that I literally have been saying this for months now. I'm like, I really want Jeffree on there. I just feel like there's so many questions, and I really would hope that, like, low-key, I would hope that Oscar would be there for this, because I feel like he would be, to me, he seems a little bit more like a journalist. You know what I mean? I don't know if he really is a journalist. I actually don't know what his title is. But to me, he seems like he knows a lot. He seems very resourceful. So I feel like, and low-key, it seems like he has a really good memory too. I don't know if he's like sitting there on the computer like Googling things as they're talking about it. But I'm like, damn, this fool remembers a lot of stuff from a lot of like years ago. And it's crazy because me even doing drama videos, I'm like, I don't remember exactly what happened. And honestly, maybe it's because I do party a lot, and low-key, I kind of drink a lot. So I'm like, maybe that's why I don't remember. But I'm like, he's really good at remembering that. Like, oh yeah, this happened in 2016. This happened in 2019. I'm like, how do you remember the years of this stuff? Like, everything in my head is just like one timeline. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, I would hope that he would be there, because I feel like he would ask the hard-hitting questions that us as viewers want to know. So she brought it up. I'll play a small little clip from her podcast. She brought it up about having Jeffree on. And it's so crazy because I'm like, oh, please reach out to him. And apparently she did. And apparently she reached out to JoJo Siwa as well too. But she had them blocked. So she had to hit them up from the Just Trish podcast. And this actually was filmed, I want to say maybe about a week ago. Maybe a little over a week ago. So I'm curious to know if there is a follow-up, because I really want Jeffree to go on there. Like, low-key, I feel like some of y'all should like go over there and comment on Jeffree Star's TikTok and be like, go on the Just Trish podcast, because I want to know the tea. Like, I am just so... Y'all, I think what it is because I just feel like all of the drama videos that... Well, the most of the drama videos that I have like made before are about like Jeffree Star. And I really do feel like... I feel like he's like probably the main reason why I got into drama videos, because I was like, I have so many opinions about all this stuff that's going on, and everyone in my personal life is like only like 2 people that I know Jeffree Star, so they don't care about all the drama. And me, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like invested in all this drama that's going on with him and all these people, you know. So I feel like that's why I started doing a lot of commentary videos, drama videos, whatever you want to call them. So I'm like, I don't know, I have a lot of questions. So anyways, go ahead and check out this clip from her podcast.
I did put out feelers this morning to JoJo and Jeffree. I sent them DMs.
Whoa,
yeah,
that's big.
I don't know how to... Okay, so like when you block someone on Instagram, like I don't know how to unblock them, because you can't see their profile at all, period.
Yeah, you have to go into your settings, and then it shows like your blocked users, and then unblock them.
I have
a few steps.
1,422 people blocked.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
so, that's,
I couldn't find them. I was like, well, this is going to take forever. So I followed them both on... Well, actually, me and JoJo still follow each other on Twitter, on X, and I follow Jeffree, and then from the Just Trish account, I followed both of them.
Okay,
so I would love both of them to be on.
Just to see for journalistic reasons. Yeah. That would be kind of a good crossover, I think. I mean, again, not co-signing all the antics, but from a journalistic standpoint, we have questions.
Yeah.
And closure is needed.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I don't like to be on, like, ill terms with anyone, you know. I don't want anyone to feel some type of way, because like in the grand scheme of things, like like the Cody Coes and you know, all those people out there, it's like and Jeffree and me, I do think of fond moments, and he did, you know, he had an apology, and I don't know, it'd be nice to be on good terms.
Yeah, I see that.
Right?
I think so.
And JoJo, I have a soft spot for. I always have. I've always been a fan. So anyways, I put those two out.
So as you guys saw from right there, she reached out to JoJo Siwa and Jeffree Star. Also, I'm so sorry. Like, I know this sounds so rude, but like, does JoJo Siwa get on your guys' nerves? I don't know why for some reason, every time I see her, I'm like, oh, I feel bad like even talking any type of trash towards her because she's like literally my brother's age. She's so damn young. But I'm just like, oh my God. She like hit this stage to where she's just kind of annoying. In every video that I see of her, I'm just like, oh, you're doing the most. And then also she recently did this like cover of a magazine and I was like, what's going on here? Like, if you guys know what I can't, like, I don't even think I could put it on the screen. Like, I was like, what is going on here? I feel like all of these, like, childhood stars, like, low-key, as soon as they start to grow up and have, like, freedom of their own, they just don't know how to act because, obviously, they've been such, like, on a schedule. They've been working since they were so young that I feel like they all just kind of rebel and they all become a little bit cuckoo, you know what I mean? So I feel like she's going through that phase right now to where she's, like, I don't know, finally free, I guess. I don't know anything about her story. I do know that she is a childhood star. I know that she's been like a celebrity for a hot minute now, and she barely turned like 21. So I know that obviously she's probably been through a lot, but damn girl. To me, it's just kind of like a lot. Like I saw her performing at Pride and I was like, okay, girl, you're a bit much. But, you know, in my head, I'm just thinking like, okay, she low-key probably went through it as a childhood star and now she's finally out and she fully came out as a lesbian. And I feel like now she's like, you know, I don't know, she's in her rebellious stage, I would say, which low-key, I feel like we all have done it before and she's obviously doing it in front of a huge public platform. So maybe that's why. But I'm curious to know like what their conversations would be like. Because, I don't know. It seemed to me that Trisha Paytas low-key was, like, a little bothered at her because it seemed like JoJo Siwa was friends with Colleen. And obviously, y'all know the beef with Colleen and Trisha. So, I'm curious about that. Anyways, about Jeffree, though. Do you guys feel like he will go on the podcast? Or do you feel like he's going to be like, no? Like, I've said this before, in my personal opinion. Like, I have heard, and you know what? I actually think that I played a clip from one of Jeffree Star's lives as to where he had made a comment of something along the lines of that he doesn't hold grudges. And I was like, that's so crazy because to me as a viewer, obviously, once again, we don't know what is happening behind closed doors. But to me as a viewer of Jeffree throughout so many years, it really does seem like he is somebody who holds grudges and low-key will just kind of like never let something go, in my opinion. So that's where I'm kind of like, it's kind of crazy that he had made a comment before about him not holding grudges. And I'm like, it kind of seems like you do, in my opinion. Because I'm just like, damn, out of all these people, like, y'all, I've had so many falling out with so many different friends before in my life. And we have always like, well, not always, some obviously I don't talk to anymore. But like, we've always like, okay, let's meet up. Let's talk about it. Let's try to work it out. Or hey, maybe even a year down the road, we'll just randomly run into each other and then become friends again. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, y'all, if you really look at his list, like I mentioned earlier, Nikita Dragon, Manny MUA, Laura Lee, Gabriel Zamora, Trisha Paytas, all these people, I feel like out of all of them, he hasn't rekindled a friendship with any of them. That seems a little bit crazy to me. I don't know if you guys even remember with like Patrick Star and Manny MUA. They obviously had a falling out, but now recently even Manny MUA went to the One Size Foundation launch event. So I'm just kind of like, even though, yeah, they're not like the best of friends as they once were on social media, at least they still have somewhat of a friendship. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's not the case with Jeffree and anybody that he was friends with on social media. Also, I forgot to mention Tati Westbrook too within that list I just said. I think I said it earlier though. But anyway, so I'm so curious to know, will he go on there? Low-key, though, I feel like he recently, with how much he's been just so outspoken on TikTok, and he's on TikTok live like almost every single day, I wouldn't see why he wouldn't. So low-key, my fingers are crossed that he is going to be on there because I feel like that episode... Whew, I feel like that'll pull in numbers, and I think Trisha knows that, and I think that he knows that too. So maybe it could be good for his brand. Maybe it could be good for his TikTok following. I don't know. Anyways, make sure you guys let me know your thoughts and opinions about everything. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, Girl Scout.